1015 FM, 720 AM. KDWN, the talk of Las Vegas.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. 1 full hour of wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's bring on the tag team of Andrew Fish Fain, Joe DeFalco, and your host, Mark Hoke.
Oh, hey, Sunday morning in Las Vegas. I'm all peppy for an exciting Saturday night. Don't ask.
Wasn't going to.
Please don't.
Wasn't going to.
I am thrilled to be here. And by the way, do you know what Vince McMahon and I are going to have in common in about an hour and a half?
Neither one of you are getting laid?
I would imagine that is Vince is probably...
I mean in an hour and a half. I don't mean ever. I just mean in an hour and a half.
I think Vince is okay, apparently okay in that department. No, we're both not going to be doing anything.
But I say neither of you are going to be paid.
We're both going to be sitting around doing nothing.
Neither of you have to pay millions of dollars.
Listening right now, that's going to be a fine.
The women pay me to go away. Don't you understand that? Good God, Fish.
I wish there was some news to talk about this week.
Yeah, nothing happened. Nothing happened.
It's not like the whole wrestling industry hasn't changed or anything in 5 days.
Welcome to the Mark Hoke Show, everybody. As you can tell, the train wreck is well on the way already in the first 35 seconds.
The lug nuts are off. The wheels are not far behind.
God. I'm Mark Hoke. Thanks for being with us on the #1 pro wrestling show in Las Vegas. Andrew Fish Fain, my tormentor, is across from me.
That'd be me.
How are you doing, Fishy Fish?
I'm living the dream, baby. Come on.
By the way,
Rey Mysterio's kid about to turn heel in a couple of days.
So sad.
I'll finally be right.
I mean, that is so... They're going to do it to him on the 20th.
You're like Nostradamus. It was a long-term prediction.
Exactly. Thank you, Josie. Joe's on my side.
Things take time. You knew it was going to happen. It was just when was the right time to pull the trigger.
Exactly.
Joe DeFalco from Future Stars of Wrestling. Joe, how are you?
Oh, wonderful. We have, once again, a new No Limits champion.
So I heard. The Vandergrift man took the belt back.
He's ready to roll. Jay Vidal will now put his FSW career on the line at Survival of the Fittest to get a rematch.
Oh, nice.
Did he really have to do that, though?
He did.
Wow.
He feels
you
he's
told
a better man, and he's very confident.
All right.
He's so confident. You give him the title shot, he's putting his FSW career on the line.
I could see Jay Vidal storming into Joe's office and said, "Damn it, Joe, here's what's happening. I'm taking that match, and I'm so confident if I don't win, I don't want to fight here anymore."
And Joe was like, okay. And Jay was like, "Oh, I didn't mean it."
He cut the promo in the ring. I guess he was very unhappy about the results of the match. And
I mean, couldn't he have just bet a ham sandwich?
He probably could have just asked for the rematch. But
Yeah,
couldn't he bet Trump's hair?
I will bet you a Bobby at Capriati's if I lose, I will buy you a sub. Nope. I'm going to put the career on the line.
He's going to bet Trump's hair.
If next time I see Jay, I might ask him.
It is survival of the fittest, so that plays into the storyline of the show. So
yeah, it's going to be a lot.
No, when is Survival of the Fittest?
It'll be Sunday, August 21st.
Oh, that's nice.
So we have a couple of Survivor Series type matches. We'll have a gauntlet match. We try to make it that theme that we've probably done for about 10 years in that show.
That's nice. It's only 4 weeks away, baby.
Yeah, and it's on a Sunday,
Yes.
which means we can go.
Yes.
Well, it depends on when I'm working.
Right. Well, I can go.
Yeah, you could go.
I can go. So there you go.
You could take off. Don't worry about it.
I may have to because this sounds like I got to see his last possible match.
Yeah.
You have sick days. It's all right.
Go to fswvegas.com and check that out. So, of course, what we were referring to earlier is the retirement of Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
It's over.
So here, I covered this a little last night, but here's the sequence of events. So earlier in the day on Friday, WWE announces that Paul Levesque, Triple H, is now the executive vice president, head of talent relations.
Yay!
Yeah, and everybody's like, oh, yeah, that's awesome. Great. Good.
And there was much rejoicing.
Taking over for John Laurinaitis.
Yay!
Double yay especially from the ladies' talent at WWE, I'm sure.
Oh, the most hated man there.
No doubt about it. So,
Bruce Pritchard loved him having him around because he wasn't the most hated
right, because
man
Bruce Pritchard could say, hey, people don't hate me as much as they hate Laurinaitis.
Yeah. Bad news for Pritchard.
Yeah.
But so then right around I believe it was around 4:30 Eastern time, shockingly right around when the stock market was closing up.
Didn't see that coming.
Actually, 4:05 Eastern, we have a tweet from Vincent Kennedy McMahon. At 77, time for me to retire. Thank you, WWE Universe. Then and now, forever together. Hashtag WWE, hashtag thankful. And he did put out a press release after that. But
didn't do a hashtag I'm fired.
No, he didn't do that. And with that, an era ends in professional wrestling. The man who ended the territory days, who brought wrestling into the mainstream.
And I was going to say that whatever you feel about Vince McMahon, hate him, love him, whatever, without him, there is no AEW, there is no Impact, there really is no Ring of Honor, there is no anything without Vince McMahon right now in wrestling.
I mean, the industry could have died.
Yeah.
Well, first off, Vince didn't screw the territories. The territories screwed
the territories. Thank you very much.
And secondly, I want to know if there's going to be a stock market investigation when it turned out at 4:15, Vince McMahon sold like 900,000 shares of his stock.
I'll be interested to see if he did that. I haven't heard anything about him selling stock.
Is that considered insider trading if I sell my own stock because I know I'm retiring?
I don't think that could be because I don't know. I don't know what the FCC rules are there.
Well, you are the insider.
Or the SEC rules,
it's
actually.
Your company if you don't want to sell it, but apparently he's still as far as we know, he's
the primary primary stockholder.
But
right, and he still will be, and then he buys back the stock, an hour and a half later for 1/3 of the price after it plummeted for that hour.
Might not be a bad idea.
Hey,
who knows?
He's a shrewd businessman.
Hey. Little trading places action there.
I think Fish should do that. He should sell his stock at Cheesecake Factory, announce his retirement, and then buy him back after the thing will plummet.
Yeah,
I think so. That's exactly what would happen.
There you go. Make you a millionaire. You can take off whenever you want now.
I like that, Joe. Thank you. You're my new financial advisor.
Wow.
I was always looking into that. I was looking to be the financial advisor to the strippers when I was a DJ. I thought it'd be a good gig back in the day.
Oh, good God.
That's anything you're doing with strippers is a good gig.
Yes.
That is not true. That is not true. A false statement from Andrew Fish Fain here on the Mark Hoke Show at KDWN. Oh, God. But anyway, so back to Vince.
As we digress into strippers.
So, guys, there's so much to unpack with Vince leaving WWE. Obviously, now we have Stephanie and Nick Khan as co-CEOs of the company.
Stephanie is the chairwoman.
The co-CEO.
No, she's the co-CEO, but she's the chairwoman of the board.
Yeah, well, yeah, but they're both co-CEOs.
Yeah, but she's the chair. There's a difference between CEO and chairwoman. Yeah. She's the chairwoman, but they're co-CEOs.
Yeah. So,
but do you really think he's gone though?
That's the question Fish and I were debating actually before the show started. Is a lot of people are thinking, oh my God, everything's going to change in WWE. We're going to, all this is going to be, we're going to see change creative and everything else. And of course, Vince was doing creative. He's out of there now. But is it really going to change? Are we really going to, is Vince just going to be looking over the shoulder and telling everybody what to do from afar?
And
that's the question.
If that's the case, I think that the WWE almost has to change so it can prove that Vince is gone. Because if Vince isn't gone and he's still doing it from behind the scenes, I think there's going to be bigger issues because basically then he quit to stop the investigation, which is obvious anyway. But then I think they'll start investigating again because he's really still working there.
Well, maybe he's just a consultant, and Stephanie needs a consultant.
Yeah, that's possible.
It's hard. To me, it's kind of hard. It's like, okay, so how do we know it's different? It's like, well, isn't the formula regardless of Vince there? Vince kind of oversee things at the end. Now Stephanie will, and the writers are going to write the way they were kind of told what to talk about. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know how you can look at it and be like, you know, how much are they going to change the project? The product is, Mustafa Ali going to become the heavyweight champion now?
No, but I think that some of the wrestlers are going to have more creative control than they did have. I mean, even silly little things like being able to use the term strap and championship match and things like that. I think those will change too. The way that the Vince micromanaged will disappear.
Well, I guess we'll see. I think that anything that'll happen will be a minor change. I think the majority of fans won't even notice it. We may notice it because we pay way more attention to it, but I think it's going to be pretty minor myself.
Yeah, right now, as it stands, Bruce Pritchard is in charge of creative at the moment. They had Triple H and their top writer, Ed Koskey, were out in front of things at SmackDown on Friday night. I do think it was kind of sad, and one thing that I noticed was you would normally think that if Vince McMahon was going to retire, that he would have come on TV, made a big deal out of it, maybe done it at SummerSlam or something like that.
Or done a retirement match or something.
Well, just some sort of way to go out the way that you would think Vince McMahon would go out. But he didn't. And Stephanie had to go out on SmackDown and lead a thank you, Vince chant. And, obviously they found more stuff. Because he was under investigation. That's what caused this whole thing with 5 different.
Well, that's what I texted you too. When you told me it happened, I said, "Wow, there must be something big that they have found."
Yeah,
or bigger.
So Vince goes out with a whimper on this, and that's saying to me, we don't want you on TV anymore. You need to stay away. Something was up, and we'll see if the Wall Street Journal and everybody else backs off on this. But I don't know. I mean, this may continue.
And the other thing I brought up to you is the interesting names of people who right now aren't signed anywhere. Do they have a chance of possibly coming back to WWE? Whether it be Bray Wyatt or even a guy like Johnny Gargano, who obviously had faith in Triple H, but maybe not so much in Vince McMahon.
Well, and that's going to be interesting too with especially a guy like Gargano. Is he's too small. He's not the kind of guy Vince wants, but he's a Triple H guy.
Yeah, as was Tommaso Ciampa, who now maybe will have something as opposed to having nothing.
I mean, can you imagine?
Well, the first name I brought up was Cross.
That was the name that I thought of too. That if I'm Triple H and head of talent relations, my first calls are, of course, to Sasha and Naomi to try and get that situation straightened out. And then Cross is on my list.
And Bray Wyatt has to be on the top of your list, too.
I almost wonder if he hasn't been re-signed with all these vignettes that they've been showing.
No, those vignettes are for Edge.
I'm not going to brag, but, last year I told you Bray Wyatt was going back to WWE from my inside sources.
He did.
Again, it's kind of like the Nostradamus thing of fish. Just because it didn't happen didn't mean that it wasn't the long play.
No, and I agree, and I remember you actually said that, but those vignettes you're talking about, though, are for Edge's return, I think more so than Bray Wyatt's.
Maybe. We don't know, but we'll find out.
We'll find out Monday, because that's when it's supposed to happen.
I guess so.
Well, it'd be great to see Edge back. It's been, 3-4 years since the last time we saw him.
Well, maybe they can straighten out the whole Judgment Day faction that they've almost completely screwed up.
Oh, that's
well, yeah, they're going to have Bobby Ewing is going to show up, and it was all a dream.
That's right. Yeah, no, Pam's going to wake up, and Bobby's going to be in the shower.
Yes. Oh. Except Edge is going to be in the shower, and holy crap, it's Lita. In the shower with him, so it'll be perfect.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, look,
no,
it's
guys,
Eva Marie.
No. Oh. Do you think that Triple H would let Eva Marie get anywhere near a WWE ring ever again?
Not a chance.
No.
Well, I'm going to call Cross and tell Cross to call Triple H, and then maybe we can get it done.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I would love to see him back in WWE.
Yeah,
that was a huge
absolutely.
mistake.
I mean, there's a lot of guys I'd love to see back in WWE, including Moxley, including Samoa Joe. I know both of them signed to AEW right now, but these are guys I'd love to have back in WWE.
I don't know if that's going to happen. I think they're happy where they are. But we'll find out.
I think the one guy that does have one more WWE run in him is Jericho.
Yeah, and Chris has said he's open to going back. Excuse me, I won't be surprised if he does. But
the question I have for you, Joe, is
Barbed wire death match.
Oh, we're gonna get into.
It'll be awesome.
We're gonna get into that nightmare later.
The question I do have for you, though, Joe, is Brock Lesnar has obviously a very close relationship with Vince McMahon. The big rumor was that he walked out of SmackDown and he wasn't going to perform. He wasn't going to be at SummerSlam. Obviously, that didn't turn out to be true because he showed up at the end of SmackDown. What happens with Brock Lesnar now?
I think exactly what Brock Lesnar wants to do. He's going to have creative control of everything he does. He's going to work as few shows as possible. He's the golden child of Vince McMahon. I highly doubt. You got to remember Stephanie and Triple H. It's all family. You think they're going to be like, well, I think they were pushing Lesnar too hard. I think we're going to pull back on him. Like I saw people on Facebook like, oh. But what does his contract say? And it's like, do you really think Brock Lesnar gives a crap that his contract says he's got to appear? He doesn't care.
No.
And WWE's not going to be like, well, Vince ain't around. We're going to sue Brock
No,
Lesnar.
that much I completely agree with you about. My point is, it seems that Brock is on the other hand, like, I don't want to do this anymore. So doesn't it become obvious that there's no chance he can win at SummerSlam now because we all know that he's not going to be doing those dates?
But we don't know that because he did show back up. So now it's like, okay, well, they say Brock's very emotional, loves Vince. That's his guy. So I guess obviously he was taken by surprise. He didn't, Vince obviously didn't call Brock and say, hey, by the way, I won't be at SmackDown tonight. I'm retiring. So Brock shows up. There's no Vince McMahon. And then I guess he took some time, and they said, we're really sorry, Brock. Here's an extra $500,000 a match. And he's like, oh, okay, I'll live with it.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, he did walk out of the building. He was out of there for a little bit. But he
went to Chipotle. He forgot his protein, and he had to go get some food. That's all.
Any chance you see Braun Strowman again?
Fish, you are taking this way too far.
Probably not, because it was $1 million a year for that guy.
I'm not taking it far at all. I'm just throwing things out there.
I think that we have to really take a wait-and-see approach if there's going to be – and like Joe said, you have to wait and see if there's going to be any changes first before everybody's going to be
obviously you can't,
saying, I want to go back to WWE. I'm sure there's people that are hopeful that things are going to change
absolutely,
at WWE.
And obviously you can't just say, okay, well, Vince is gone, so tomorrow here's everything that's going on. We're scrapping everything we're doing. Obviously that's not happening. You have to keep some continuity, and that's what they're going to do. So the changes will be subtle and smaller. But I do think that those changes are going to come.
Maybe.
Yeah, like Theory and the other guy maybe getting a first name again. I think that's going to be the first move. It's going to be the first mandate. Everybody has a first name.
That would be nice.
It wouldn't shock me if they've got rid of the mandate. And also, they have to change your name when you go into NXT.
I can only imagine, for example, like what happened with. For those that don't know, when the guys are doing commentary, Vince McMahon is constantly in their ear. He's telling them generally what to say the whole time.
Well, I hear Michael Cole's in a lot of those guys' ears now.
So, oh my God, could you imagine?
Hearing that in your sleep.
And it's okay that you have a producer in your ear, but Vince was like, make sure you say that. Oh, I can't. And was
what
just
the hell are you doing?
Was just constant.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine doing commentary like that. So now
maybe Morrow will come back now.
but I can't imagine what it's going to be like for Michael Cole. We've all busted on him because he's half the time he's sounded like he was doing a commercial when he was doing his commentary.
Listen to Pat McAfee. I highly doubt somebody's in his ear telling him anything.
Oh, they were though.
I wouldn't, not to the extent.
They let him loose. But I don't think they let him loose because he was a color guy.
Yeah, but not to any extent that anyone else is. I think McAfee had almost free reign. As long as he stayed within...
Michael Cole needed somebody in his ear. That guy was terrible for a long time.
Yeah, that's vintage DeFalco right there.
There you go.
What a stiff.
But it's going to be... It will be fun to see what transpires in WWE over the next 6 months and what kind of changes we will see.
They can skyrocket. All they got to do is pick up the phone, call Joe DeFalco, and things... Bruce Pritchard. Forget about it. I'll take over. I'll turn that place around. I'll make it bigger than AEW. You know what I'm saying?
And that was my question to Mark. And that was, obviously things, like I said, aren't going to change overnight. They're not going to be huge changes immediately. But do you think Tony Khan and AEW are like, when we had Vince, we knew what we were up against. We knew we could handle this. This isn't a problem because our product is going in a different direction. Now that they may be streamlined or more modern or have a different line of thinking, I'm a little concerned.
Well, Tony Khan is the most tenured CEO in professional wrestling.
Yeah, he sent that
as he
tweet
mentioned
out.
in his.
Did he really?
Yes, he did.
Vince McMahon.
Yes, he did. He sent a tweet.
Excuse
out.
my language, but that is just asinine.
I know he's an idiot.
That was bad. I did not like that at all. Come on, just say, Vince, thank you for everything you did. I get to run a great wrestling company because of the path you blazed.
Yeah,
and
I didn't realize that Tony Khan sent out. I didn't realize Tony Khan sent out a tweet saying, "I am now the most tenured CEO in wrestling."
He did.
That's an Eric Bischoff move.
It was Tony
or a Vince brother Russo move.
Tony is the mad little king over there sometimes.
Oh, good Lord. That's not a good look.
Well, he tries to come across as, the guy for the people, but he's an entitled billionaire kid. Yes. Bottom line.
Can you send a tweet back saying, Joe, that you're more tenured than he is, so you're the most tenured CEO?
Well, yeah, you are 100% correct in that. You know what I mean? So, where's my due?
Do it. Well, do your due on Twitter. Hop on that little machine.
What about Joe?
I'll retweet it for you.
Thanks.
Joe is feeling his oats today here on the Mark Hoke Show.
As well he deserves to.
Joe DeFalco, Andrew Fish Fain, and myself, Mark Hoke. Thanks for being with us here on KDWN.
He uses half my guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, without Joe, there is no AEW.
That's right. There's no Brian Cage running wild in AEW.
He was running wild at Ring of Honor last night.
That's right. Once every 5 months, he's earning his paycheck.
There you go. It's good work if you can get it.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. We're going to renew your contract. We'll see you in 5 months.
Well, let me just ask you guys this real quick before we head to break. What do you think will be the biggest immediate change in WWE because of Vince leaving? Fish,
let Joe go first. I got to think about that.
Okay, Joe, what do you think is going to be the biggest immediate change?
I think it's going to have nothing to do with what we're going to see. I think it's going to be the backstage, the locker room. I think they're going to, in a lot of cases, feel, a little more relieved. From what you hear from everything, whether it's because of the respect or it's Vince McMahon, that a lot of people are on edge, every time they see Vince. And I think Stephanie and Triple H, and that's why they like Triple H, they provided a calming factor to the talent. And sometimes when you feel that way, sometimes you work a little bit harder for that person. So
I think you're going to see, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it as much as just get a sense of it, but I think you're going to see more freedom from the wrestlers, from the sports entertainers.
I don't know about that. Triple H, I don't think Triple H is going to be like, you know what, Madcap, say whatever you feels right.
No, maybe not him, but I think guys that they have more faith in. A guy like an AJ Styles may be able to say more what he wants than.
But does he not have that ability now? Did Edge not have the ability to kind of say or write things the way he wanted to?
I don't think so. I think the whole problem, that was his whole problem with Judgment Day, was he didn't want it to be any at all supernatural, and that's what Vince wanted it to be. So that's one reason why.
Yeah, I get that. But it's like, you get bullet points. Unfortunately, the bullet points are, that our next member is going to be coming from Mars. Yeah. You still got to say it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, hey, we got to head to break, unfortunately, because
I can hear the music.
It's coming.
There it is.
See? Trust in the Hoke. We'll be right back.
SummerSlam preview.
Yeah, stop. We'll be right back on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDWN 101.5 FM, 720 AM. The best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. SummerSlam, Ring of Honor.
Acknowledge us.
Ric Flair, all sorts of crazy stuff going on.
New Japan coming to Vegas.
We'll be right back. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.
101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN, the talk of Las Vegas.
You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
'Tis I am accused and guilty of doing a great pro wrestling show
good
here on
Lord.
KDWN 101.5 FM, 720 AM. Come on, Fish.
Good Lord.
Get on board. Don't be grumpy.
Oh, I'm not grumpy. I'm on board.
Don't be grumpy. Andrew Fish Fain.
That's me.
Golly, man. Joe DeFalco from Future Stars of Wrestling. Go to FSW Vegas. Hey, if you want to be a wrestler, you can go check that out. And, of course, if you want to...
I want to be a wrestler, Joe.
You could be the next Chris Bay.
See that? I could be the next Chris Bay.
I got $10 says he's not the next Chris Bay. I got 20 that says you can barely make Harvey Whippleman.
I got 30 that says I could be the next Slick.
No, not a chance. Oh, dear Lord. Anyway, and I was just discussing a topic with Fish before we get into some of the other stuff that happened this week. The new A&E biography shows are out. We had The Undertaker on as the first one for the season, and then Goldberg was the second one that aired last Sunday. And I thought it was really fascinating. I wanted to get you guys' take on this. Because as they went through that show with Goldberg really had said that when he got into wrestling that he wanted to be a superhero to the kids. And he felt like that as he went through, he eventually accomplished that and got to be, got to wrestle for his son and so on. And Jim Ross said something really interesting at the end of the show, that he said that this is the last, Goldberg may be the last true superhero character to be able to be portrayed in professional wrestling. And I was curious to get your guys' take on that, because when I heard that, it kind of resonated with me a little bit, because part of the reason, I was in athletics, but I also love comic books. And I think that's part of the thing that hit me was why I like pro wrestling so much, is because it's a combination of the two. You have the athleticism, but you also have the characters, the Superman and the Batman and the villains and everything else, are what pro wrestling is kind of all about. And when you look at Goldberg came in and he was Superman. But can there be another Superman in pro wrestling again? Can they anybody get away with really booking somebody to be that kind of a guy again, like Hulk Hogan was in the 80s and Goldberg and so on? Cena made it for a while, but it really, people turned on him. Can anybody get away with that character anymore? I mean, Fish, what do you think about that?
I think times have changed too much for us to have that kind of character. We don't have that sensibility anymore, and it's an overused word, but there's almost a loss of innocence that we can't have that character anymore, because that's not the world we live in.
Joe, you book wrestling. I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, can we truly have another superhero in wrestling?
Absolutely. If it's written right. I'm going to say that Goldberg wasn't the last one. I'm going to say Eugene was the last one.
Joe.
Eugene was a superhero.
I said Nikki ASH, so.
The kids loved that guy. He was so over until for some reason they bloodied him to a pulp that time with Triple H, and he never regained. But Eugene was a guy that was beloved by everybody. I'm not so sure Goldberg was. He was pushed down people's throats, and he was also a guy that, maybe the kids loved him, but there was a lot of backlash with Goldberg. It is always going to be backlash. That doesn't make him not that character, and I think anybody could be that character if presented in the right frame. I could think they could turn Max Dupree into a superhero if they want to.
I mean,
he might not have a job.
The one guy I'm looking at right now actually is Braun Breaker.
That's a possibility.
I don't see it in him. I think you got to have, like with Cena, it worked for a long time because, you know, he catered to the fans. He had a larger than life personality. Goldberg didn't. He wasn't really a talker. Like, I don't look at it that way. Like, I don't see Goldberg. When you said that to me, I was like, I didn't look at him as that guy, but maybe because I was a 35-year-old man. I don't know.
I mean, I think I think he captivated everybody so much because, you know, when he came in, he just came in and tore people apart and left, and everybody was like, "Wow!" Yeah, I mean, he was different, and that's something like, for example, we talk about here at the station is be different.
Yeah, that first match against, Goldberg's first match against Hugh Morris, built him out, whatever. When he won, you're like, "Okay, who the hell is this guy?" You thought he was just a jobber. And it wasn't a big deal that he beat him, but it was like, wow, okay, this guy's upset. So all of a sudden, then he's 78-0.
You know, and unfortunately, WCW, as they had the habit of doing, overinflated everything. They took it too far and pushed it too much, and then ruined it at the end. That was
the cattle prod was just
You know, you look at. I mean, you know, I love when Eric Bischoff is out there shooting his mouth off all the time, but you know, a lot of stuff that they did, they ruined. In the end, I mean, you know, obviously he wasn't there at the finish, but
that
still.
Match away on Nitro was could be the biggest mistake in the history of wrestling.
Yeah,
like,
saying
how many buys would Hogan losing the title to Goldberg get? I don't, you know, they just wanted to beat WWF in the ratings. Horrible move.
Yeah, the one saying that Mick Foley, if you turn over to Raw right now, you'll see Mick Foley win the championship.
Oh, that was a brutal one too, but they specifically lost millions of dollars by not having that as a pay-per-view event. People were going to pay $50 to watch something that they ended up getting for free.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so because they had that match on Nitro as opposed to on a pay-per-view.
Yes, they did.
Right.
So, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we're jaded enough, but you know, somebody can put it together right.
There's always going to be somebody's going to love. You know, they wanted Roman Reigns to be the superhero, and it was just not happening.
See, I think now, it's funny, ironically, I think now when Reigns ultimately makes that face turn that he's going to make, I think he does become that superhero. Now, he doesn't. I don't think it's as long-lasting or as impactful necessarily as Goldberg or Hogan, but I think he will be the next guy.
Yeah, but I also think there's too much of an edge on him. I mean, I'm talking about a guy who is the pure as white driven snow.
But there is nobody. There is nobody like that anymore. Hogan was the last one of those. Goldberg wasn't one of those.
Well, he was at the start. I mean, he came in and just.
But he was never. No, he was never pure as a driven snow kind of guy because of the way he kicked people's butts. That wasn't who he was. So that's not a good analogy for it. He was a hero, but he wasn't the all-American pure, gee whiz with a smile. No, that's not who he was.
Well, I mean, not gee whiz with a smile, but I'm going to come in, I'm going to get the job done, I'm going to rock somebody, and I'm going to be your guy.
That's the same edge that Roman Reigns has. That's what I'm saying.
But right now, but Roman Reigns is also behaves as a jerk.
Of course he does, because he's a heel. He's supposed to.
Right.
That's why I said when he makes that face
I'm
turn.
saying from start, show up, and
Goldberg made a heel turn.
Eventually, down the road, but I'm saying at the start and riding that rocket like that. Can you do it? Are people?
Of course you can.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, if you find somebody who's the antithesis of somebody, and they bring him in to, Drew McIntyre could be the superhero when he came out. And, after he beat Brock Lesnar, but then he was performing in front of nobody. That was the guy they were trying to, get over as, the nice guy and great wrestler. And he knocked Brock Lesnar off the pedestal. And he never got that opportunity in front of fans because there was no fans when he was the champion. I think that was an attempt to make Drew the superhero and the next big star of WWE.
And they could do the same with Gable Steveson because he hasn't even started his career yet, so you don't know where he's going to go.
That's a possibility. You know who I think could be the next superhero? Pat McAfee. Because, of course, he's going to be at SummerSlam, and we got to real quick go through this card, and let's hear what everybody thinks about it before we hit the rest of the news. So here's the card, guys. Let's hit these predictions real fast. We got Logan Paul taking on The Miz. Boy, are we all excited about SummerSlam, by the way? No? No. Well, we got Logan Paul against The Miz. Logan Paul looks like he may be getting his revenge on The Miz from WrestleMania. Your thoughts on Fish on Logan Paul and The Miz?
I have absolutely no thoughts on Logan Paul.
None. Don't care. So Fish giving a don't care. I don't know if that's a legit answer, but Joe, your thoughts on the Logan Paul Miz match?
I like Logan Paul coming in. I think that him and The Miz should have ran until they decided to break it up and see. But I guess, Logan Paul thought he would be a babyface, and that's what he wanted, and that's what they agreed to. So it's like, I think it's going to be awkward because people don't like The Miz and they don't like Logan Paul.
Yeah, those two guys, you've got Ciampa right now with The Miz, right? Why could you imagine if they'd just kept Logan Paul with him? That would have made sense.
They could have been tag team champions and would have gotten over.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So, well, there we go. See, here we're already picking on booking mistakes by WWE. We got Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch going for the Raw Women's Championship. The Circle of Life comes back at SummerSlam. Bianca gets another shot to knock off Becky. Does she do it, Fish?
No, what happens is Becky gets hurt, and Bayley shows up and beats Bianca Belair in 39 seconds.
Oh, okay.
That was the same as last year's SummerSlam.
Joe?
Next.
Wow. Bianca, by the way, is a minus 300 on this one.
And she's winning.
Riddle and Seth Rollins
has a chance to be the best match on the card.
Could be a great match here. Fish, your thoughts?
I love Riddle in this match. I think that Riddle right now is one of the best wrestlers in the company.
Riddle's a minus 150, Joe. You putting any money down on the Riddle man?
Well, if Riddle wins, Seth Rollins is officially a jobber. That'd be like 4 in a row with the losses after the 3 straight from Cody. They're really building him up.
That's a very good point.
That would be a disaster for Rollins. Ugh.
It's like, I guess you can't hit rock bottom until you hit rock bottom, and then we can build you back up. Don't worry, Seth, it's coming.
Well, he can join Becky Lynch at the Rock Bottom Club.
There you go.
We have Liv Morgan, the SmackDown Women's Champion, of course, the recipient of the Money in the Bank contract, which she cashed in on Ronda Rousey. The former UFC champion will be challenging for her title back. It is Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey. Fish Liv's a minus 200 on this.
That one, all joking aside, that one I do believe that Charlotte Flair comes back and stops Ronda Rousey from winning it, which is why Liv retains.
You just cut me off from what I was going to say. That was exactly what I was going to say. So we're next.
All right, so we got Liv.
We're in lockstep there.
So now we get to see Rousey, Charlotte Flair again.
Exactly.
Yay. The Usos will be defending their undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships against the Street Profits. JEFF, JARRETT.
ETT, come on.
What did I say?
ETT.
So Jarrett doesn't count the Street Profits, and then they finally break up and never get the title, which they should have after that last show, and they should have got it that show. And they should have gave him a short run, but I don't think it's in the cards for the Street Profits. It's like they're building too much on those guys not getting along. Montez Ford's a star. The other guy is Marty Jannetty. Blah, blah, blah.
I think Angelo Dawkins might debate you on that, but the Usos are a minus 300. Fish.
I actually think the Street Profits win here. I think that what happens is they have their third match at the Clash at the Castle, and that's where the Street Profits break up. So I'll give the Street Profits the win and the title here.
Wow. Okay. I think the Usos are going to win. Lashley and Theory for the United States Championship. It was a rematch for our little elf. I call him the elf on the shelf, Mr. Theory. Lashley is a minus 300. Theory plus 2.
Don't waste your money on Theory. Lashley wins this match.
Joe?
Yeah, that's the curse of the cash in the case. You never win any matches until you cash in the case there.
It's so unfortunate. But there you go. Pat McAfee faces off with Happy Corbin.
No, that's bum-ass Corbin.
McAfee will probably get the biggest pop of the night. He is a minus 300 against Corbin's plus 2.
Again, McAfee wins.
Oh, McAfee's so winning this match, Joe.
Yeah, if McAfee doesn't win, then he'll never need to wrestle again. But I just want to quickly say that I hope everybody listened to me when I said put all your money on Claudio, because Gresham showed up at the tapings without the belt. Did I say it here? I don't know. I said it.
I
on
didn't
my
say it
podcast.
here, but I saw that too.
What happened?
We'll get into that. We're going to talk about the ROH card in a minute. And then the main event, the Roman Reigns, the defense of his undisputed WWE Universal Championship against aforementioned earlier Brock Lesnar. And let's see where are my odds on that. Skimming down.
I was going to say, what are the odds? I'm kind of curious in that one.
Where is it? Oh, they pulled the odds down, I'm guessing because of what happened with Brock.
Because they didn't know if Brock was going to show up.
So no odds.
Because ironically, Goldberg is his replacement.
They were talking about Goldberg, making a phone call to Goldberg in case Lesnar pulled out.
I think I'm going to have to make a phone call to Daivari and see if he'll give me some inside information, because I can't. The FCC has no jurisdiction on Bet Online, does it?
I don't think so. No. So.
Oh, there you go. Maybe I can convince Daivari and bribe him to give me the winner.
Reigns and Lesnar. Reigns. Who you got to take?
I mean, unfortunately, I don't see any way they can have Lesnar win that match.
I would agree, Joe.
I don't want to see Reigns win again, but I think he does.
I think if Reigns isn't going to be around, that's the lure that they're throwing out there. So I think it's definitely possible. But do they do that match again to now have Lesnar lose again? I don't know. Where does that leave the biggest superstar in WWE if he loses again?
Yeah, that's the only problem is the fact that Lesnar hasn't been able to beat him yet. So how can you have him lose yet again?
That's why I don't understand why they did this match in the first place. I mean, I know there were injuries and things like that, but yeah, this one doesn't. By the way, the Royal Rumble odds are currently up as well. There is one person who is minus on the board, and that is Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is minus 115. Guess who's next?
Bray Wyatt.
Joe, guess who's next? Don't look.
Karrion Kross.
Nope, it is The Rock. The Rock is the next on the betting odds at plus 550, and they actually have Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I did see that. And by the way, it's like, we talked about, maybe Theory interjects himself in a double down, and Lesnar kills Reigns, and then Theory beats Reigns.
Who knows? That is the intrigue of the night, is if Theory's going to do something.
But then the other question is, with Vince McMahon gone and Theory being his pet project, does Triple H feel the same way about Theory?
Right, and that's the one question that I think that kind of lingers in the air. I think even Theory has that question about what of me now?
What about me?
And I know Triple H is a big fan. He's the guy who kind of brought him in. He was this young phenom and everything, but bringing him in and making him the guy is it's a reputation on the line. Is Triple H going to go out on the line and his first act is to make Theory the guy?
Yeah.
Well, I think Theory could be the guy, but I just don't think he's near ready to be that guy.
Would you stake your reputation on Theory?
What's that?
Would you stake your reputation on Theory?
I would, but I wouldn't right now.
Yeah, down the road. It's one of those things. It's got to be organic, and it's not
the same
there
thing
yet.
with our champions when we talk about who we're replacing them with, and we got stuck in situations to where Solo Sikoa, we're going to make him the champ. He gets signed. Well, it probably was best for business if we can get the title off Hammerstone and move it on to Solo or Seppa. But the problem is now that he's not there, okay, now we're looking at Toa. But then Toa gets signed. And it's like you just can't force feed it. Like at the show we had, everybody's like, oh, Ice Williams. I just didn't think he was ready at that time. So it's like, well, we're not hurting ourselves leaving the belt, just like they're not going to hurt themselves if they leave the belt on Reigns for 6 more months.
Yep.
No, fair enough.
So there you go. There's SummerSlam coming up.
You're right. Reigns is the safer choice than Theory.
So we'll see what happens at SummerSlam. That, of course, coming up this weekend on
Saturday.
That is Saturday night from Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee. I want to try and get 2 more things in. We've got about 6 minutes to do it. Ring of Honor Death before Dishonor card last night. Apparently it was a pretty good card. I did not get to watch it. I was working, so I did not get to see see the matches. Only going by the reports.
Perspective, he watched it.
But of course, Claudio Castagnoli winning the Ring of Honor title from Jonathan Gresham, that had been rumored because, and Joe, I saw the same thing, that Gresham showed up at AEW Dark tapings without the belt. So
I forgot all about it. I didn't even look and see because when I looked immediately, and they didn't have a line on that one, but they did have lines for the Ring of Honor show, and I'm wondering if they ever put it on the board, or maybe because of that they never did.
Yeah. So
oops.
So Claudio Castagnoli was longtime Ring of Honor guy, never won a singles title there, but he is now the Ring of Honor world champion.
You mean Cesaro?
Yeah.
I'm calling them by their WWE names, damn it.
Well, get over it. FTR had a pretty outstanding match from what I understand with the Briscoes last night.
It was one of the there was numerous people calling that one of the greatest tag team matches of all time. The 2 out of 3 falls went like 45 minutes.
Yeah, brutal match.
Well, and those are two great tag teams.
Yeah, we need to get the Briscoes on AEW. It's so silly. I mean, I know.
Just fire the guy who doesn't like him in TNT. That's all. TBS.
Yeah,
get rid of him.
Yeah. So had that one. Samoa Joe held his Ring of Honor World TV Championship. Mercedes Martinez held on to the Women's Championship.
Who did Samoa Joe beat?
Jay Lethal.
Oh, okay.
He beat Jay Lethal, so Jay Lethal comes in, he brings in Sanjay Dutt and another guy, and he still can't win. Like, wow, how did Jay Lethal become the AEW jabroni guy?
I was going to say the Seth Rollins of AEW.
I don't know.
Man.
But, of course, I am very excited because the Ring of Honor World Six-Man Championship was back on display, and it is Dalton Castle and the boys. Yeah!
I wanted to bring in Bateman, and when I announced Bateman, I could have said Ring of Honor 6-man tag, and they had to take that away from me.
Yep, see you later. The Peacock is strutting again.
Who is it?
It's Dalton Castle and the boys. Are you kidding me?
Who are the boys?
The boys. So are they interchangeable, or are they going to be the same boys?
I think that these look like bigger boys. I think these were bigger boys than the original
What I don't
boys.
like is...
And why are we all excited about these guys winning?
Dude, you have not seen Dalton Castle and the boys.
No,
obviously you have
5
not.
years ago when people cared.
Yeah, but they were awesome. So
why
did
they build
Yeah,
up
Furbies
Tully
were awesome
Blanchard
5 years ago,
Enterprise?
too, but, you know.
Yeah,
I want to know why they built up Tully Blanchard Enterprises to now just disband them anyway.
I don't know.
And Nana took over, supposedly.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But, yeah, Cage did get a 6-man win last night, so good for him. But interesting, Claudio Castagnoli will be strutting around with the Ring of Honor World Championship. So there you go.
Well, I'm excited to see my guys Cage and Toa destroy Dalton Castle and the boys for the 6-man titles at the next show.
That could be fun. That'd be a good match.
You know, obviously that's the only other 6-man tag they got going in Ring of Honor. So, you know, look forward to it in their next pay-per-view in 7 months.
And then we have the Ric Flair's last match was announced.
Ugh.
Now, I'm going to say the card, if you look at the card, is pretty good. But we got Flair and Andrade taking on Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal in
Good
Rick's
Lord.
last match.
That's like the weirdest combination of anything that I could have possibly thought of when I thought they were putting together this Ric Flair.
I feel like somebody just threw all the names in a Scrabble tile bag.
Yeah, okay, so we're going to put Flair. Well, Flair and Andrade makes sense just because of the relationship. Right.
It's his son-in-law.
But Jeff
It makes
Jarrett.
sense in that way, but not for a match.
No,
who wants to see that?
But Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal together? Really?
I mean, you had Ricky Morton on the card from the Rock and Roll Express. Why not team him with somebody?
Isn't Ricky Morton going with teaming with his son?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, why not put him in there?
I'd rather see Jimmy Garvin in there.
As you can see, we would have liked to have seen almost anybody else in there.
I would rather seen Jimmy Carter in there.
Oh.
How does Ric Flair not wrestle anybody he really had any history with?
I don't know.
Yeah, Sting should have been the absolute choice, or Steamboat.
Well, Steamboat wouldn't do it, but Sting would have been a better choice. Sting and Ricky Morton would have been cool.
So many guys from Why not Sting?
Yeah, that's what we were just saying. So there you go.
Sting is
All right.
wrestling. You couldn't tell me, like, for that joke is okay. They're both baby faces. Flair and Sting is the tag team. It was so crazy.
All right, we got to roll it out of here, guys. Joe, Fish, thank you. We will see you next week on the Mark Hoke Show. Download us podcast at markhokeshow.podbean.com. And, of course, we've got markhokeshow.com, Mark Hoke Show on Twitter, and the Mark Hoke Show on Facebook. Guys, we will see you next week. Thanks for being with us here on KDWN 101.5 FM, 720 AM. Have a great day, Las Vegas.
Acknowledge us.
Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.